All right, everybody, good morning and welcome to game one of the final day of UMH-68 here in Saskatchewan. This is the third place game featuring Team Grey taking on Team Blue. Both teams having an up and down tournament. Team Grey looking for their first win. They've played incredibly well during the course of the weekend, just haven't seemed to have been rewarded with the W, and they would love nothing more than to finish that way. And Team Blue, coming off of a loss last night, looking to finish in the win column for a second time during the course of the weekend as well. A lot of pride here. The boys have had a wonderful experience here at UMH-68, and we would expect nothing less. Yesterday's game between the two of them was a tight one. And of course, later this afternoon, we're going to see the final featuring Team Black versus Red. But we're going to start with introductions. The rosters for Team Grey. The defenseman, number 8, Ethan Haas from Saskatoon. Number 7, Evan Lee out of Delisle. Number 10, Noah Milkey from Porcupine Plain. Number 9, Tommy Palashak from Coaldale. Number 43, Jace Rose from North Battleford. And rounding out the group, number 17, Merrick Selwood, playing out of Regina. The forwards, number 34, Boston Byers from Christopher Lake. Number 15, Keegan Fogarty from Regina. From Martensville, number 81, Abel Helgeson from Gainsborough. Number 13, Nixon Laurent from Saskatoon. Number 5, Bentley Matheson. Lash Burns, Ty Rainier wearing number 16. Number 71, Knox Thompson from Regina. Number 61, Nick Ermson out of Saskatoon. And number 70, Drew Brown from Regina. And the goaltenders, number 55, Asher Eldridge, playing out of Paradise Valley. And from Estevan, number 1, Jace Nagy. And now turning our attention to Team Blue. Your defenseman, number 10, Mason Berry from Saskatoon. Number 47, Sean Franklin from Prince Albert. Number 5, Indy Makchik from Saskatoon. Number 15, Caden Montgomery from Swift Current. Wearing number 19, Bryden Schmier, playing out of Melfort. And from Saskatoon, number 56, Bennett Brown. The forwards, number 55, Cody Bollier, right here in Martensville. Number 17, Elliot Brisebois from Kincaid. Number 11, Carter Height from Warman. Number 2, Bentley Hepp from Saskatoon. Number 70, Zach Johnson, also from Saskatoon. Number 77, Boston Peranto from Nipawin. Number 9, Colton Snell from Estevan. From Grand Coulee, number 13, Nixon Steinley. And number 91, Oliver Anderson, hailing from Zaner. And the goaltenders, number 35, Jace Corasil from Saskatoon. And from Regina, number 1, Damian Idzakovic. UMH-68 enjoys a number of sponsors, the main one being BioSteel. BioSteel, download the app from the App Store today. Keep track of schedules, updates, team stats. Download it in the App Store or at the Google Play location, wherever you get your apps. We have some gold level sponsors attending and providing opportunities for our boys here today as well. They are the Up My Hockey organization, of course, the Up My Hockey podcast, Elite Prospects, and we'll detail a little bit more about those organizations as we work our way through the course of the tournament. And of course, A-Cane Hockey providing the prize pack for one of the young fellas that have been playing at the tournament this weekend, who will be selected to win the Sidney Crosby Award for the player that shows attitude, leadership, skill, that exemplify the hopes and goals of the tournament itself. That award being picked by the coaches, and it will be awarded at the conclusion of the second game being played later on this morning. The warm-up bell is concluded, and we will await the puck drop to signal the start of this final game. The boys will have played 5 games by the end of the weekend. And after a good night's sleep, we're expecting a really good contest between the two. They've been very even throughout the weekend. Blue with a 3-loss, 1-win record, and Team Gray still looking for their first win despite a number of very, very close contests on Friday and Saturday. Maybe their luck will turn here for Sunday. Once again, we're pleased to be here at the Martensville Recreation Center in its second year of operation, opening in October of 2024. It's a fantastic facility to host events like this, and the community of Martensville have really embraced the event here with a variety of local sponsors as well. Several notables include our 3 Stars sponsor, Ritchie Brothers. They are providing the 3-star awards. And we are awaiting puck drop now, and we're off. That puck chipped back in by Tommy Palashak. And that first shot just wide, and we're going to introduce you to our goaltenders today. Jace Nagy getting the start for Team Gray, and it looks like down over in the blue zone, Jace Coruscant. So a battle of the Jaces to start things off, and we'll see with 2 goaltenders on each team and an odd number of games, we'll see how they split the workload there. In the past, we've had goaltenders change halfway through the game or at a period interval break or not at all. So we'll see what the agreement is there, but we're going to start with those 2 young fellas, Jace Coruscant for blue and Jace Nagy for Team Gray. And Johnson lines up to take the draw for Team Blue. And he's lined up against Byers from Team Gray. And Johnson winning that face-off. Bollier, that pass over to Height. And it's steered off by Nagy into the corner. And now Selwood will try to pick that puck up and chip it up. It gets up into Brown. And we're going to have 2 Browns in the game, and I believe we may even have 2 Berries. Both of them, both sets not playing on the same squad. So we'll try to get them squared away as we go. And here's Helgeson. He's got a number of goals in the tournament, including one early in the game yesterday to kick things off for Team Gray. And there's Johnson headmanning the puck up to Height. Height has got Bollier with him. Going into the corner, Selwyn now picks it up for Team Gray, and he's got a little bit of time here. He'll chip it up to Helgeson. Helgeson has to regroup behind his own net, and now looks to be pulling. And he can't quite get that puck out of his own zone, and it ends up back on the stick of Team Blue. Height now, Brisebois, with the feet across, and a goal to start things off here for Team Blue. Coulter Snell getting a beautiful pass from Brisebois, and Snell's excited there. I think that's his first of the tournament, the Estevan product, and he made no doubt when he got that puck on his stick, and he went high glove hand, and he beats Nagy. And so with under 2 minutes gone in the game, Team Blue pull ahead with their second shot of the contest. Milky now firing the puck down in behind the net in hot pursuit for Team Gray. And now Team Gray looking a shot, and another shot on Jace Coruscant. And Coruscant gets his first touches of the game. Steinle now chips the puck out. And the line out for, we've got Ty Rainier and Fogarty and Ermson, the line out for Team Gray. And out on offense for Team Blue, Brisebois, Steinle, and the goal scorer, Snell. And that draw won by Fogarty, and a shot on it by Erbson, and a quick and easy stop there for Coruscant. Shots on goal now, 2 in favor of blue and 1 for gray, although that might go up by an extra because of that most recent shot. Face off to the left of Coruscant, and it's won by blue. And now we see our first look this morning of Paronto, Boston Paronto, in when he elects on the 2-on-1 to keep it, and that backhand attempt is denied by Jason Nagy. And Nagy making his 3rd save of the game, and that will bring a line change and a face-off to his left. Out now Laurent and Selwood, Thompson, and Brown. Or nope, it looks like Matheson. We may have a line change here for Team Gray. Gray mixing things up a little bit. Thompson and Brown have been paired off along with Matheson for much of the tournament, and there's Laurent has been added to that line, and I'm guessing Brown has moved over to a different spot. There goes Matheson on his own, using the defender as a screen, and he gets a shot through, and Cora still able to snag that and then smothers the rebound. Now we've got a change over for blue, and now we see the defensive pairing of Schmier and Barry. And Hep out, centering up Paronto. And I think Height has been in that line combo as well, although that may have changed as well. Another shot through a screen. And Anderson joining that line. So a little bit of line juggling here by both coaches from the familiar arrangements that they had over maybe the last 2. And notably, Team Red has been the most active in changing around players as things have gone. Both teams now in this end opting to do the same, trying something a little bit different on Sunday morning here. And that puck goes for an icing for Team Blue. And that puck drawn out, Schmier around up to Paronto, but they can't clear Milky, firing it back in. Matheson leveraging to give a little bit of room on that puck, but it ends up back in Blues possession, and now Matheson with it to Milky. Milky up to, well, back now, Paronto in pursuit, and Paronto with the stick check. He comes out with it, but the rest of his line were in the trail position, and Gray now will have the opportunity to move it up. But Paronto is able to intercept it, and now he's back into the zone, looking for an angle here. And he will go around looking, waiting for a line change on the Blues end of thing. Maxick preventing himself as a shot. Now Paronto takes a shot, and he recovers his rebound. That centering attempt goes off the side of the net and is denied. Maxick and Brown now on the D pairing. Brown chips it forward to Anderson. Anderson trying to go down, and Brown from Gray temporarily touching it as well. So both Browns on the ice. And now we've got Maxick, and he's all by himself, so he's going to take the puck for a walk, and he'll try his hand at a shot, giving his teammates a chance to get some rest by swapping out onto the boards. And we got Bennett Brown out still with Maxick, Johnson, and his line mates from Team Blue. And now Beaulier coming out of the corner, and he's roughed up by Matheson, but Height comes out with it. Height, and his shot is stopped by a good stick check by Milky. And now Maxick, who's been a little bit more active than we've seen him. Oh, and that puck goes through and just hits the post. So Maxick activating as an offense player. And Height now, Height off the face mask of Nagy. And Nagy can't recover the rebound, but his line mates make the clearance. And now Height will regroup, and in they come again, Team Blue. Maxick now, he takes a shot and hits Beaulier. Now Milky battling for it, and a clear up to Helgeson on the half board. Helgeson goes rink wide over to his line mate Brown, his new line mate. And now Byers, and so Helgeson, Byers, and Brown forming a line for the first time. And we'll see if that chemistry yields anything. And we've got our first penalty of the game, a slashing call. And we're going to see who's heading off, and it looks like it's Brown. And Brown pleading his case. He's been around the game long enough to know that those kinds of pleas won't change the fact that he'll have to spend 2 minutes in the penalty box. And Team Grey with a chance now to draw back even here. They've got 3 shots on goal, and the focus, or some of the issues they've been having a little bit this month or this weekend has been getting quality shots on net, and we'll see if we're able to generate a couple here. Rose down to Urmson. Urmson with the centering pass, can't find Fogarty, and that puck going all the way down. And now Brisebois in the penalty kill role is content to freeze that puck down there. He's being supported by Snell, the goal scorer for Team Blue. And now Palashak, he makes his way up. Rose. And Rose is one of those players, we didn't announce him in the original. He's a late arrival to the tournament. He came in, he's been here for the whole weekend, but he has not appeared in our formal introductions, but he has certainly had a position there. Rose playing for Team Grey all weekend, and he's been a fantastic addition to the tournament. But we have been listing from Team Grey, we've been talking about Ethan Haas, but he was unable to make, I think due to injury, and Rose was able to step in, and he has been exemplary in his performance here, joining in with his great teammates. And a nice one-time shot there from Selwood, and we've been enjoying watching him shoot from a variety of locations. He's not afraid to carry that up. Fogarty to Selwood again. Selwood's shot, and it goes high up over top of the goal, and Coruscant unable to snag that, so play continues. Milky and Grey enjoying a little bit of offensive presence here, but yet to register a shot in this power play. 10 seconds left in the power play, and now we've got a break for Steinle. He's going to be met by 2. He's Selwood and Milky both back in a defensive effort, and that is the end of that penalty. And so Team Blue will be back. Hep coming out to join his line, and now we've got 5-on-5 action again here. 11 minutes to go in the first period. And Toronto with the shot on net, steered aside by Nagy. Now Barry from the point, and Anderson gets a touch on it, but it continues on into the corner out of harm's way. And a centering pass there. Now Fogarty tries to flip it forward, and it gets over to Barry. Barry goes cross ice back to, it looks like Schmier. And Schmier will feed it up, and it ends up back over on Lee, and Lee just fires it straight into the offside zone. The Delisle product partnered up with Selwood at the moment. He'll be looking for a change, I'm sure. He's been out there for a little bit. And now Toronto mixing it up with Thompson. And 2 Thompsons in the tournament as well. This one, the Regina Thompson. And he's got a goal and has been laying the body a little bit more as the tournament has gone on, using his large physique there to add that element to his game. And now Toronto, and then Toronto from Nipawin, and here's Height. Height feeds it back to Miacek, or Makchek, pardon me. And now Toronto back. Oh, and that shot there by by Johnson. Handcuffed a little bit there. Makchek able to hold the line, and now Matheson, the centerman, can't quite make it back, and they are stopped in the neutral zone, and Blue comes back again. That puck, Nagy having a little trouble with the trapper, has had a few shots go, and he hasn't been able to corral it, and rebound. And play continues, and Thompson now trying to use Makja as a screen, and that puck out in front to Brown. And it looks like that line is back together again. Brown, Thompson, and Matheson. And they've had some success scoring goals this weekend. And now face off to the right of Coruscant. We're a little bit over halfway through this first period, and we're going to see Byers, and he's going to take the draw against Johnson. And Byers wins that draw, comes up to Brown, and now Montgomery just flicks it forward, gloved by Beaulieu. Beaulieu is knocked off the puck, as we said, by Thompson, who's been getting more comfortable with the physical aspect of the game now that we're into the spring hockey season for this age group. Body checking becoming permissible as that starts. So some of the guys have had a little bit of experience in their spring program, some maybe a little less so, and so we're watching the evolution of that part of the game, as is the post-game scrum activity, which is sort of becoming, or has always been part, everybody jockeying even after puck play. Competition continues, even though they may be in a line change, looking for an edge wherever you can in a game this close. Every little bit helps. Brisebois now lined up, and I think he's up against Byers. And Brisebois, he comes out of that. So good hit there. Byers has also been one that has been using body for a little bit of addition to his game. And despite maybe a smaller stature than some of the bigger players, he has been more than happy to throw his weight around, and he does so effectively. Helgeson now, he's stripped of the puck by Brisebois, and Snell able to get it up to Montgomery. And Montgomery is hounded down there by Byers, and now they're able to pop it up. Snell, his pass to Brisebois intercepted by Selwood. And now we've got Helgeson. He's all by himself on the right side. He'll take a shot at it. Not a great angle there, and Coruscant had it well covered. And we are going to get a penalty now, this time against Team Grey. And Byers will take a little bit of a sit, and you can tell he's not happy with it, but it'll go a tripping call. And so Team Blue, who early on had some trouble scoring, but have now found a little bit more touch, and that started with some positive traction on their power play. And so they've enjoyed a little bit of success with the man advantage, and we'll see whether they're able to continue that on here now on a Sunday morning. Pep lining up, and Pep unable to beat Fogarty there, or pardon me, that was Rainier. Rainier winning that, and a low shot by Perano, kicked aside by Nagy. And now an attempted clear, and it's stopped by Schmier. And now we've got a break, and it's held, or it's Urmson, and Urmson, he's being chased. Urmson still in control of the puck, that puck right on in the goal mouth. But that was a good back check by Barry. Urmson had about 3 or 4 strides on him, and Barry was able to make up the ground and snuff out what would have been a really good scoring opportunity. Schmier now popping it up over to Anderson. Anderson now in with Hep. So we've got Hep, Anderson, and we're going to get another penalty here, this one to Gray, and it's going to be a head con. Oh, it's going to be a boarding call to Palashak. And so for the first time in the tournament, we're going to see what 4-on-4 looks like. We haven't had a 4-on-4 situation until this point. And so we'll see whether the coaches just continue to roll the lines or whether they're going to go with some speed here. And it looks like they're going to continue on with the line combos, which makes sense in an invitational format like this. But this will be something different. Pardon me. It's a 5-on-3 scenario. My math isn't right here on a Sunday morning. I need a cup of coffee, I think. But it is a rare 5-on-3. We haven't seen very much of this as either, but blue now enjoying a little bit of extended two-man advantage, and they'll be looking to move that around a little bit faster here. Their coach is urging them to move it around. Schmier, nice pass across to Beaulier, but Beaulier on his off, well, with the left hand, and the net, a little bit of problems with the net and an adjustment. It looks like it's kind of up off of its mooring. We'll see if that has an effect on the referee. And he's going to try to do it, but he's got a pretty good eye on it, and that's goal by Nagy, and it's a goal. And so the goal by Johnson, and maybe as key there, that net came off its mooring but wasn't necessarily affecting play. You could see that the lead official was watching it, and probably because it was Gray that had knocked it off, they opted to continue play, and there being a little discussion here by Milky, wondering from the coach's perspective why the play wasn't ruled dead, but it's kind of that advantage situation there, and with the man advantage, Stripes probably got it right there. And I know that Team Gray may be not happy with the process, but the net a little bit ajar doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be called instantly, because obviously we would be pushing that net ajar in any situation. But in that point, it did make a positive difference for Team Blue, where they were able to continue on with their formation, and they scored a goal as a result of it. So Johnson with his first goal, I think, of the tournament, and now we've got Brown, Brisebois, and it comes across now to Makchik, who hits the crossbar, and Team Blue have found their footing here. Scoreboard says 1-0 at the moment, but we will get that adjusted so that it'll reflect 2-0. That goal did register, and there we go. Brisebois now taking the face-off against Thompson, and Steinle chips it back to Makchik. Makchik with a shot on net, and he just hit the post, and now he's got his second. Now he's got registers the shot from the point, and he'll have to go all the way back as the puck is cleared. And now we've got Beaulier, and Beaulier will get rubbed out by Thompson, but Brisebois able to carry forward, and then Nagy wisely jumps on the rebound, and play suspended for a moment, and we'll see wide-scale changes on both sides as teams use the stoppage and play as an opportunity to reset. And so the Toronto line, Hep, Toronto, and Snell. And coming up, we have, coming out of there, Brown, Selwood jumping up to join him, and then Helgeson. There's, Selwood looked like he was going to make a play, but Toronto will try his chances, making his way through, and he is checked up by a pair of Gray defenders, and he's forced to go back and put it into the hands of Franklin, and Franklin with a good shot on net there. A little bit of traffic in front, but Nagy was able to see it. And Hep now pitches it for Brown, up to Helgeson. Helgeson able to get around Montgomery, but Franklin able to knock that puck off of his stick. And a centering pass. Brown now with the shot from the point. He's popped back in relief for a pinching defender. Now Rose able to just steer that puck back into Team Blue zone. And Byers down. Byers and Brown working in the corner against Hepp. Anderson now putting a little pressure up, but that puck cycled back in by Rose. And Helgeson pops it out. Rose looking over, and he tries to feed across to Selwood, but that puck goes out. 3 minutes to go in the period. Now Rose, he has to go back, hounded by a trio of Blue players. Had to be careful there wasn't anybody back behind him, but Helgeson pops in, but Brown unable to get back on side prior to, so that'll result in a offside. Coming out for Blue, line change, we got Height, Beaulier, and Johnson. And the Renier, Fogarty, Urmson line popping out. And Johnson wins the face-off there, Team Blue. Beaulier, long shot, goes wide. More of a dump in than a shot. Johnson trying to find some room to move. Beaulier, he's knocked off the puck. And it comes over to Barry. Barry gets it in front and swipe at it by Height. And now Fogarty able to chip it up to Rainier. And that puck goes back in. Palashak backhands it around to his partner Lee. Lee taking a look. Yeah, a little bit of time here because of a delayed offside. And the stick check by Rainier. Gets that puck, passes past Barry. He goes all the way back behind the goal line. And now Gray, Fogarty in possession. And Fogarty stripped of the puck. Urmson stepping in. Johnson now able to make the line. And he's looking for some help. And it goes right to Height. Height shot wide. Johnson. As that puck knocked off his stick, now Urmson and Height both battling for the puck, and Height chips it into the corner. Goes right back to that pair, Urmson and Height. And now Palashchak in there digging for it too. And Fogarty will be content to chip it over to Lee. And that puck fired out to Brown on Team Blue. Now Brown, he's gonna activate and come into the zone from his defensive spot, and a nice centering pass from the defenseman. Makchuk now with the shot, and he had traffic in front, and the two defenders trying to work to create some offensive opportunities, and Brown will settle back to his point on the blue line. But a good time to get in there and try to promote a little bit of offense, and Anderson was able to drop back and cover defense while Brown went up. And now we've got Brisebois wins the face-off to Makchuk. And Milkey back in for Gray is able to chip it forward, and Matheson now has got a little bit of room, and he's going to come up the right-hand side. And Thompson now drops it for Matheson, but it ends up. And Steinle now for Team Blue. Steinle getting a snapshot on net. Nagy able to bat that down and cover it with 27 seconds to go in the period. Shots on goal right now, Blue 15, and Gray still looking at getting more rubber on the net with 6 shots in this first period. Dying seconds of the first. Thompson, maybe time for one extra shot. Thompson coming down. He's going to take a look at it. 12 seconds to go. And Montgomery chips it up. And we're down to final 3 seconds. And this looks like we're going to probably end up with Blue winning the period by a score of 2-0 after 20 minutes. They got accumulated 15 shots on goal, Gray with 6.
Team Gray with 7, with 0. Up on Hockey with Jason Padola, the podcast for players chasing their full potential.
All right, everybody, welcome back to period 2 here in our bronze medal game. It was all blue in that first period. 2 goals scored in their efforts. Team Grey looking to still get onto the board here. It's been a very competitive weekend here at UMH-68, and we're calling this day 4 actually, because of course day 1 on Thursday saw the teams meeting each other for the first time. And this is the 5th game that they've had together. Those first opportunities on the Thursday involved a lot of team building off ice and on. This weekend has provided a lot of off-ice support for families through the upmyhockey.com website and the guidance to Jason Podolin and his staff, working his way through and helping families navigate the process of elite hockey and what the next steps are for their sons, and maybe even being able to apply it to other siblings and daughters and all of that. And so the Up My Hockey podcast, hosted by Jason Podolin, is an excellent resource for families wanting to know more. And Team Blue already in here. Anyways, we urge you to go to upmyhockey.com to find out more information about Jason and his services, helping families navigate through the experiences of a man who's already done it himself, playing professional hockey. Jason has gone through the process with countless families, and his own experiences, he shares that, and the power of mindset. Grow your mindset, grow your game is his mantra. And so the Up My Hockey podcast and the upmyhockey.com website, both gold sponsors here at the tournament, and they provide scholarships to players as well, so an opportunity. Some of the boys are going to have the opportunity to get some complimentary services from Jason as a Kickstarter, and it may be just what they need as they continue on with this journey as developing hockey players and developing fine young men as well. So the tournament has exhibited some of Saskatchewan's best 2013 born players, and we're seeing that in this bronze medal contest as we have all weekend here. So Hep now picking back up with the actual game itself. Hep leading a charge on the left side, and we're going to get a tripping call against Rose. Rose laying out, and Hep driving past, and now Team Blue will have the opportunity to go back onto the power play. And so Team Blue, one player short right now for the face-off, but there he comes, Bollier. And that long clearing shot comes right onto the stick of Corsill. So remember, we were talking about being curious how the goaltender situation is going to go, whether the teams are going to play an even amount of minutes or as close to for the goalies. So that might add a little bit of a wrinkle in the plans this go around. The 8 young goaltenders being provided some assistance by Focus Goaltending, providing elite goaltender training, and they are been in the arena for the weekend, and part of their sponsorship is providing a detailed report to our 8 goaltenders on their strengths, their upside potential, and giving them the next steps perhaps to focus on during the coming months as they get ready for a fall season start in whichever format of hockey they're going to be playing there. But Focus Goaltending, we're very lucky to have them on board again as sponsors. And so we continue with with Jace Corsill in net for Team Blue, and Jace Nagy in net for Team Grey, but we'll keep an eye out around that 10-minute mark to see if the coaches will make those substitutions. Last year we saw a lot more of that in the preliminary games, and to varying levels of success. 3 of the teams last year electing to do that throughout the round robin. One team opted to split the final game to see, and so something different than we've seen in the previous 8, but Brown cycling back, and he will put the puck on Makchek's stick. And Makchek will look up, using his frame to shield the puck from Ermson, who's providing a little bit of penalty kill pressure there. And well done by Ermson to keep the puck out of harm's way. And the entry denied. And now Ermson, Fogarty, and Ermson. Fogarty, the puck just behind him. We've had a number of short-handed goals, almost as many as we've had power play goals in some instances in some games. So the short-handed situation providing some skaters a little bit more room, perhaps to engage. And we saw that there where Team Grey were able to, in the dying seconds of that penalty, put a little bit of pressure on there. And now we've got a 3-on-1, Fogarty, Ermson, over to Ermson. Ermson off the side of the post. And Fogarty now poking at it from the side, and Franklin comes up with it for Team Blue. And he's pushed off by Ermson. Snell able to get the puck up. And of course, Snell having the first goal for Team Blue from his defensive position. And he'll go for a change. And now up ice, we've got Rainier. And Rainier with a head of steam here. And he takes that shot and it just goes up over top of the goaltender, Horasil, and now coming out. Puck intercepted by Selwood, and he gets a hit from Hep and then from Peranto, but he's able to drive that puck into blue territory. Rainier now in pursuit. Franklin and Rainier. Rainier comes up with it. Rainier still keeping that puck in. Montgomery now, or pardon me, Rainier trying to get it out. Montgomery is able to chip it up to Peranto, and Peranto finally relieves the pressure. That puck getting past Lee, and the officials waving off the icing, figuring that Lee had an opportunity to play it. And there is Lee, the Delisle product. And now we've got a break here for Matheson. Matheson against, he's gonna have to go through 4 blue players here. Laurent and Matheson taking on now Hep. Finds a little bit of room around on that left side, looking for the centering pass, and he goes up high, electing to shoot from a sharp angle. And Hep's still there. He's in the slot, and he takes a shot, and Nagy. And Nagy not happy. He looks maybe a little bit with Montgomery. Took a slight swipe on the stick, and I don't know. I like when I watch a hockey game, I like it when the team protects their goaltender, and I think it does wonders for the goalie to know that he's got 5 people got his back on the immediate ice surface. And Schmier with the shot, and it deflects off of Hep and into the corner. And now Anderson, he chips it out to Hep, and Hep's passing Anderson down in tight. And he can't tuck it past Nagy. 13:41 gone, or pardon me, to go in the second period. 6:19 gone. And I got Kadzakovic and I've got Eldridge right down below our broadcast location here, and just watching to see if he is making himself ready soon. Thompson now driving, looking. He's looking out, continuing to hang on to the puck, and he dumps it back in for Laurent. Laurent pushed off by Schmier, and then Laurent able to get Schmier pried off, but that puck right with Thompson, and Thompson's shot, and Horasil wasn't sure where it went to, but he had some good support from his teammates. Thompson's shot caroming off of Horasil and into the corner. Matheson, Brown looking, and Matheson wisely, two defenders between him and Brown. And so Matheson will go in and lay the puck in on the rebound, and a wraparound attempt almost. Selwood promoting from the defensive side of things. Had a chance on opportunity there on the wraparound, but he couldn't quite squeeze it all the way. And now the puck back down Team Blue into Team Grey territory, and that puck centering pass bouncing off of Thompson. Beaulieu now on the left side. He passes it up to Brisebois. Milky, and Milky, that puck now in behind the net, and Fogarty, he'll wind up and take it for a ride, and he'll see if he can get some room there. Fogarty still in possession, and he takes the shot, and it comes up high off the breastplate of Coruscant. Fogarty still looking, he's got Milky, and Milky was on his forehand there. Couldn't quite get, there was a little bit of blue stick traffic there. Setting up the one-timer. Fogarty now chips it back to Urmson. Urmson still in possession now. Urmson will take a look at it. He brings it forward, gets that stick on Fogarty, and Fogarty had a swipe at it, but it comes all the way back down into Gray's zone. Milky will look up, and they will regroup. Brown now. Rainier back on, and Fogarty, and that shot over top of the broken stick and right straight into the hands of Coruscant. 11:21 to go. And no movement on the goaltender's bench side yet, so we'll see how that arrangement goes. And Byers and Hep on the draw. Hep winning that one. Puck banked off the pad of Coruscant out front, but Blue able to recover. Franklin working his way up the boards, and now it's on to the opposite, the far side of broadcast, I guess, down into Montgomery behind his net, taking a look, chips it up the glass. He's got Anderson, tries to flick it forward to Hep. Hep now gets it up to Anderson, and now Anderson, Montgomery jumping in. Anderson looking for a centering pass where he had it, but it jumped over the stick of Johnson, and now coming back is Helgeson, I think, and Helgeson's shot high up on the glass, stays in play. And Peranto waiting for that puck to come and make its way up, stuck in his skates there for a minute. Now it comes back to Palashak. Palashak tipping it up off the boards, and it'll be Montgomery trying to make the zone. And Blue is delayed offside call from the official, and Blue will have to clear the zone. And now Rainier can't corral the puck, and now Montgomery coming up from his defensive spot. He'll take a shot, and that went high. Nice little snapshot, and that draws us to the midway point. And that may be a new facet of this. We didn't see this last year, but stoppage in play at the 10-minute mark signals the time for the goaltenders to switch. And so Eldridge will be taking his spot now between the pipes and Idzakovic. And so that's how we're going to handle the goaltender swap. And that's probably the most diplomatic way of doing it. I'm always a curious guy and would have wondered if there would have been a breakaway if they would have rang that horn, but it worked out well, and now we've got our two new goaltenders, and right off the get-go, first shot on Eldridge, and he was in for about 2 seconds, and he fielded his first shot. Let's see if the same holds true now. Thompson coming, and Idzakovic comes out and plays it, so both goalies very quickly getting their first touches, and I'm sure that's always a relief for them. Getting some positive traction into that. Gray having to clear, and Thompson looks like he's nursing something. So he'll go and get some attention there. And another shot on Eldridge. And so Blue coming right down quickly. And Thompson coming off gingerly there, just went into the tunnel underneath the booth here. And I'm sure he'll be able to shake that part off. And he'll be back out momentarily. Didn't look like it was too serious, but he was obviously in some discomfort. Fogarty taking the draw against Brisebois, and Fogarty chips it back to Milky. Milky tied up with Steinle, and now Urmson, he works his way up the right side, gets the red line and dumps it in. Brown in pursuit. Idzakovic. And that puck fired all the way down, and it'll go for an icing call. So 8:58 to go. Team Blue still in the lead by a count of 2-0. This is the bronze medal game you're tuning into here. Game number 9 of 10 for the weekend. Of course, following this broadcast, we encourage you to check in a little later on this morning and see Team Black taking on Team Red for first place and bragging rights here at the end of the tournament. And puck now to the left of Eldridge. And a couple of defenders in there trying to chip forward. It ends up in Schmier's stick. Schmier with the shot, and Milky's able to get his foot on it, and he's gonna take it for a walk here. Milky still with it. Milky centering pass, and Brown not able to get his stick on it for the finishing there. Milky with a good rush, up the ice. He came around behind his own net and didn't see anybody to really pass that puck, and so he wisely took it for a tour, and that ended up in a close opportunity. Now Ermson coming in, he's got Brown. Ermson with the shot, and it goes high and wide. And now Blue, Brisebois evades the check, and that puck comes out. Fogarty's got a man with him. Fogarty, his shot off the glove of Idzakovic. He had another player with him, elected to shoot it. Selwood now with the curl, and he's looking up. Selwood, he's going to carry it straight in, and puck comes off his skate, but he sticks with it, and now it goes up into the hands of Team Blue. Makchuk, pair of defensemen, battling it out for the puck. There's Brown with a nice drag. Brown taking a look, feeds in front, and he had Fogarty. Fogarty comes out of the corner with it, chips it back, and that goes into Brown's hand, and Brown able to pass it across to his D partner Makchuk, who then gets it up to Hep. Hep crosses the blue line, puts a pass, a shot on net, was steered into the corner by Eldridge, and the outlet pass picked up by Peranto, and Peranto with a quick acceleration into the thing, and he scores. Peranto picking that puck up, and he made some room for him. 3 really quick crossover strides, get into shooting position, and he gets his 5th of the tournament. He had 4 tallies yesterday after having a drought in the first 2 games, and now he's found his scoring touch, and he puts his team up by a trio of goals here at the 6:36 mark. And he will line back up again for the faceoff. Hep now taking the draw, and Hep chips it back to Franklin. Franklin up to Anderson, now back to Hep, and Blue looking for more. And there's Helgeson, and Helgeson, I think, sometimes just kind of has enough. And look at him come in here now. And a good hard shot down blocker side at Idzakovic, able to counter that one. Helgeson has shown some speed and scoring touch during the course of the tournament. Was looking to have that, and a little bit of a battle there between Franklin and Byers. And both boys competing at their utmost level. Kind of fun to watch that. And we don't see that on the broadcast, but you get to see some of the little individual battles going on now. Bodies flying. And the body contact and the hit count kind of coming in a flurry on occasion in this tournament as well. And so a little bit of a series there. Milky now, and he gets a little bit of attention by Franklin, and then Franklin gets a little bit, and there's going to be a penalty here. And they're going to tag Rainier, and I think it may be boarding. We'll see what the call is. Oh, they're going to call it interference. Okay, so Team Gray back in the box again. Team Blue with another power play opportunity here. And we mentioned that it sort of seems like things will go into a bit of a lull, and then there's a whole streak of scoring, and then things will kind of settle for a bit back and forth, and then there'll be a flurry of physicality, and as a result, now we've got ourselves, we have a special team situation here with the penalty kill on Gray's part and the power play for Blue. Blue's had a little bit of success even today. They have a power play goal. I believe Franklin now with a little bit of time and space. He feeds it over to Johnson. Johnson comes across. He's got a little room here. Curls, taking a look over to Montgomery. Montgomery down into the corner. Bollier back up to Montgomery. Montgomery getting a little lateral movement. He's now at the top of the power play, and that shot deflects off Lee and hits the netting. Bollier making that shot attempt, and now we'll get new penalty killers and new power play unit. And so Brisebois, Steinle, and Snell out on the power play, and it looks like Matheson and Matheson and Laurent will go out to try to kill on behalf of Team Gray. Now puck comes all the way back now to Milky. Milky tries the backhand clear, and it gets picked up by Brisebois. Now to Franklin. Franklin down to Snell. Snell taking a look, and it's chipped by Selwood, and puck right in front, and it's deflected high. I think that got a piece of Selwood's stick, and it was up there. Franklin, of course, anchoring that power play, doing well to get that puck into a dangerous position. He's had a very good tournament himself. We have a lot of great defensive talent here. Oftentimes we are the one, defenders who are carrying the puck and making their way up on making offense get their names tagged, but we've got a lot of really great solid players. Franklin being one of them. He's had a few shots, but he's just put in a great body of work this weekend from his role as a defender, and he was recognized a little earlier in the tournament as one of the all-stars. And I think it was a grit and grind, it might have been, but recognition for a job well done. And so those defenders, they play a very key role, especially in some of these games where there have been some pretty potent goal scorers. The defenders and the goaltenders have been put up to a real challenge trying to contend with some of these players, and they've been doing a fantastic job. Oftentimes a pretty quiet role. Barry being another one of those really good positional role players, spending a lot of time defending, and the hope and the goal, of course, is being involved in tournaments like this, that the progression that they're able to take, especially in the face of that significant pressure, and in some instances, I think about Team Red and Team Black, there does not seem to be a relief in terms of lines. All three lines in some of those cases have been producing multiple goal games, and the fellas like Schmier and Franklin, Byers, Rose, lots of great role playing. Brown now coming out. He's another one of those really great defensive solid guys, and is Makchuk. And we would be remiss if we weren't mentioning them as often in the broadcast. Of course, playing defense, so much of it has got to do with what you're doing when you don't have the puck, and so of course we don't really provide a lot of detail on that, but they've done a wonderful job here. And you can see Brown keeping his skates active as it's going. The defensive role is one of those quiet, unsung positions that is essential for these teams as we go along, and even seeing the progression over the 5 games, you can see that confidence continuing to grow as they ready themselves as defenders. And we're going to get a holding call, and maybe it was because we were bragging them up so much, but Brown will go to the box, and that will give a little bit of an opportunity here for Team Gray to generate some kind of forward momentum for themselves in the dying minute of the second period. It's not a must-score situation, but it is a very key point in the game if they want to mount a comeback here, and they are capable of doing so. This team played a very competitive game against Team Black, who in the semifinal only losing by a goal, and so they certainly can put the puck in the net. And Helgeson is one of those guys that's able to do that. Here's Milky now. They're very patient here. A cross ice pass to Lee. Lee to Helgeson. Helgeson with the shot. Lee able to cycle it back into the corner. Brown now coming out, and he's got a guy across the net, and there we go. Very good vision there, and a great hand-eye coordination project. That puck coming across, elevated up to Helgeson. Helgeson able to play it off of his body down to his stick, and he's able to capitalize on a power play, and just like that, as we were saying, Team Gray needed a little bit of a spark, and that might have been what they were looking for. Obviously, the goal is what they were looking for, but they were coming out a little bit flat, and things were starting to look a little grim, and now they've got some momentum here. Let's see what they're able to do. They've got the Laurent line out, Rainier, Laurent, and Ermson, and Selwood pops it up to Laurent, and now Palashek looked like he was going to get in there, but that puck drawn deep, and Idzakovic looking very confident going out of his net to handle the puck. Of course, some goaltenders preferring to do a little less of that work, but Idzakovic already in this young port of his career, still relatively young, I guess, as a 2013 kid. He's already got that, and just like that, Team Blue back with a 3-goal lead. Hep with the goal this time. And as we get a little bit deeper into the tournament, some fatigue perhaps setting in, and so much of what Jason and the UMH-68 staff focus on is that mental part of the game, and that shows a little bit of the evidence of that, where occasionally you take your eye off the ball for a little bit, you let your guard down, and that momentum swing can be very, very quick, and it looks like it's swung back in the Blues' favor. Let's not forget, Blue has had a really tough go in the tournament as well, in a couple of lopsided losses, and so they have learned a fair amount in terms of what it takes to deal with some adversity, and that adversity may be what we're seeing here as the difference maker in a tournament of this nature, where it's an invitational all-star type. It's only been 48 hours of game time, but 48 hours ago this team was losing games by 5 goals, and now they are in a position where they might end up coming away with a medal. There's still a fair amount of time going in the final minute of the second period, but Team Gray are going to have to find something to dig, and that something could come in the form of a player carrying out an activity or varying their role, just like we see Rose here doing something different. And Gray, good pushback. You can see that they are still see some possibility in the game. That goal did inspire, even as damaging as that third goal for Team Blue. And we'll see. Fogarty's one of those guys who can spark the play, and he gets that puck into a dangerous zone. It just doesn't seem to be that second guy oftentimes in front of the net. You know, they're Milky now. He gets there, and there is a guy that time in front of the net. There's Byers providing a little net front coverage. Not enough screen to fool Idzakovic, but that puck now cycled back, and that'll bring us to the end of this second period. We're going to give you a scoring update here, as we have been doing so after the second period, and our technician Alvin's going to pull that up. Score after 40 minutes, Blue holding a 4-1 lead over Team Gray.
They offer full customizable options for tournament MVP awards, team gifts, and special events.
And can't say enough about the work that Alvin Tam has done here. He's just so thorough. I've got one job, and he, I think, is balancing about 5 from my count. And he's got all of the social media that you're seeing, a lot of that social media, all of the YouTube channel work has been done by him. And here's the goal summary, another one of the elements that he does. The goal scoring started in the first period at the 18:02 mark. Coulter Snell potting his second of the tournament from Brisebois and Maccheck. And then Zach Johnson scoring his first with Bollier and Barry with the helpers. And that was a 2-0 lead going into this first intermission. And then Boston Toronto puts them ahead by 3 at the 6:36 mark with an unassisted goal, his 5th of the tournament. And then Abel Helgeson with his 6th goal of the tournament, a feed from Brown and Lee. But almost immediately after that, less than a minute, Bentley Hepp with his 2nd on an assist from Boston Toronto and Caden Montgomery. And that brings us where we're at right now, a 4-1 lead for Team Blue. We'll talk to you in a little bit after a short break. Thanks for tuning in right now. All right, everybody, we are back for the final regulation period, I will say. We could still potentially hit to the overtime, and of course, there are no ties at the end of this, so if we did get to that overtime spot, we would play until that goal scored. But for the time being, we will have 20 more minutes of period play here, and that is some time for Gray to be able to dig deep and see if they can get back into the game. But it's also an opportunity for Team Blue to finish on a high note here. They've had a very good, productive 40 minutes, and we'll be looking to round that out. Coach Andreessen and his WHL ambassador partner pretty intent on making sure that they maintain that lead, while Coach Guest with Team and Coach Dane with Team Gray wanting to get into the win column. They have, like we said, they've played so well not to have won a game, but that gives you an idea on the level of skill and quality of the program and the tournament altogether. You can have a high-powered group of individuals and they can work really hard and come up with no results. But of course, that's not the total intent of the weekend. Although right now, I'm sure they would like to be able to walk away with some hardware, but the overall opportunity and the growth that they will have had over the course of the 96 hours that the camp has been going on here in Martensville will pay dividends down the road, no doubt. And so here's Thompson now. Thompson, the Regina kid, coming around, and he's able to pull that card and gets a good shot on net, and there you go. Team Gray. That's the spark that they're looking for. Puck put by Thompson straight onto the stick of Nixon Laurent, and Laurent does the rest. The Gainsborough product, all the way down on the southeast corner of the province. He's come a long way, and that has to feel good. And so it's a 2-goal game now. And Team Gray starting to snatch some of the momentum here. Team Blue was able to come back within a minute of that last Team Gray goal and score, and we'll see if Gray's able to withstand that intense pushback and add to their total. And here's Fogarty now. Fogarty trying to find some room. Gray, Brown, and we've got Brown, Fogarty, and we're going to take a look here and see if there's been, and Laurent, and maybe a little bit of line juggling going on here. I'm not sure we've seen this combination. Coach Guest getting creative, looking for a way to spark things, and that may have been the trick. They loaded up with a couple of good complementary players there. Thompson, of course, there, and not out of the woods yet. That was the kind of play that got them scored on after their last goal. This time they were a little bit lucky, I think, to go, but Team Blue not content to allow that 3-goal lead to disappear, and they are going to continue to press. As we mentioned, they have had some painful experiences here themselves during the course of the tournament, and I don't think they're intent on reliving those. And so you can see this pushback here, but Gray, they've got some determination. They want to reverse their fortunes here and pick up their first win at the time when it would mean the most. Laurent with the goal there, off the beautiful feed from Thompson, and shots on goal narrowed a little bit there. Blue with 27 and Gray now up into 18. Byers now going to take the draw here against Brisebois. Brisebois with a goal already in the game. And he's had a couple in the tournament, I think 3 total now, and here's Rose. Rose under a little bit of pressure here from Snell. Snell with a goal as well. And now here we go. Ermson's just going to chip it in. And Helgeson with the quick, trying to jam it in on the short side, and he doesn't find any room. He recovers the puck. And now Ermson had a little bit of trouble picking his stick back up, and he couldn't fish it out of the corner. And so Blue capitalizing on that. Brisebois with the feed across, and that Selwood picks that up. And Selwood gets it onto the stick of Byers. Byers will just pop it in, and he's now going to forecheck. And here comes Ermson. Schmier able to pull it out of the corner, and now Schmier is able to clear. And with the clean ice the way it is, it's going to go all the way down, and it'll be back in the blue zone for an offensive faceoff. So to start the period, right within the first minute, Thompson with the feed to Laurent, and he did the rest. And we now have ourselves a little bit tighter contest than we did even going into the break. Draw one, and that shot deflected. Idzakovic able to pick it up and get it up to Brisebois. Now Brisebois got a bit of a jump here, and a good stick check by Lee. And Lee rubs Brisebois out onto the boards, and Franklin unable to get to stop it, and he'll have to backtrack a bit. And Matheson now. Matheson will be looking to see if he can get a little bit of movement here. Puck cross ice over to Milky. Milky up to Laurent. And now Thompson popping himself into the corner. And Thompson putting a little bit of a body on to Hep. And that results in a turnover. And here's Gray again. Feed up to Milky. And playing with a little more urgency now, Team Gray. Thompson shielding the puck. Gets it over to his partner Ermson. Puck in front there, and Idzakovic, he solid frame there, covers that puck up and refuses to let it go. And even now he's still not letting that puck loose. And now it's up. And so Team Gray coming out. And you can see their players looking up at the clock as they go. Lots of time yet. So finding a balance of urgency and patience going to be key here on Team Gray. And not sitting back on the 2-goal lead is certainly going to be in the minds of Team Blue. Team Gray have been able to score a fair number of goals here in the tournament. And that has to weigh on Blue's minds. Milky now, or pardon me, Miyazik. Not Miyazik. Well, that puck kind of bouncing loose. Makzik back there chipping it forward. And a partner pairing of Makzik and Montgomery out there playing defense. And well, it looks like that is Franklin up, or Brown up there. Brown back on defense with Makzik. Brown holding the puck cross ice to his partner Makzik. Makzik chipping it up to Anderson. Anderson slightly offside was Peranto. He got caught up there in the crowd, and he got across that blue line a little early, and then we're going to see a change over. Selwood and Lee coming out now to play defense. All right, Fogarty taking the draw, and he's up against Height. And Height winning that one goes up to Brown. Brown getting across the blue line and pumps it in, and he goes and chases it off of his deep position. And Brown trying to dig it out of there, and now Fogarty, he is harassed by Anderson. And Fogarty's got a break now, and we've got a 2-on-1. And that puck, good block by Peranto. And Fogarty hacks at the puck, and it ends up over with Idzakovic, and he just jumps on it. And a face-off will be to the right. Height coming out with his line of Johnson and Bollier playing defense back there. Bollier and Barry back on the defensive unit, and it is Johnson and Height. And that backhand pass by Byers, and that goes easily handled by Idzakovic. Puck chipped back, and that shot on net, and a chance for Helgeson, and it just poked wide by Brown, or by Barry, and it headman by Johnson. Height, Johnson now, and it comes all the way back to Selwood. Selwood taking a look. He's got a little room on the right, and we're going to get a penalty here. some after contact whistle, and that's not going to help Gray's cause. Urmson going to the box. And so Team Blue, with 14:29 to go in the third period, will go back to the power play. And Gray continuing to look for answers here. Will have to defend the man advantage for 2 minutes or less. Byers kicked out of the circle. Johnson now lined up against Helgeson, and Helgeson wins that draw. Now Height chips it around the boards, and Blue and Helgeson now, and he's got a little bit of room. He's going to choose some time up here, looking for a little opportunity to move, and he's going to take a shot there, and that goes high up over to Milky. Milky up off the boards over to Helgeson. Helgeson back. Oh, it looked like he was going to go back to Milky. Helgeson will just dump it in. And now he's going to go for a change. Good disciplined shift there. Choosing to come off while he had plenty in the tank. And now Johnson coming up. And Team Blue has to regroup. And here comes Schmier. Thompson showing a body, and Schmier knocked off the puck there, and Milky trying to get it out, and he kicks it up and passed outside the blue line. Now Blue is outside, and it comes all the way back. Schmier, puck on his backhand, has to look back. He sees Boulier, and Boulier now with a little bit of room, and he'll make the zone, and he will carry it down with the centering pass. Now Thompson with an opportunity, he just backhands it up, and he will now come. 3 sets of forwards so far able to get out here on this penalty kill. So Team Gray showing a lot of discipline in their PK, keeping the ship short. And Snell, one of our goal scorers this morning, his pass going across ice. And we haven't seen a shot yet in this power play from Team Blue, but we may get our first there. Steinle, and that one steered off by Eldridge. And now here's Montgomery on the point. Snell all the way across to Franklin. Franklin down low to Brisebois. Brisebois back to Franklin, and the power play is now done, and back to full strength is Team Gray. And Team Gray, Fogarty now on the offensive. And here's Team Gray now with an opportunity. Matheson looking for some room. Matheson will chip it back to Rose. Rose, that shot blocked. Selwood now. Selwood's shot is blocked. Selwood battling down there, as is Fogarty. Fogarty trying to dig that puck out with the help of his line mate, and it now comes out to Franklin. And Franklin in the corner reverses it. It'll come up to Brisebois, and Brisebois is able to chip it out. And now Rose comes back, takes a look. Looking up ice, he gets it onto the stick of Fogarty. Fogarty now, 3 guys across the line for Blue. Fogarty with the chance to shoot, and he scores a beautiful goal. Now, we mentioned earlier that Fogarty had game-breaking opportunity and skill level, and he shows it right there. Just a perfectly placed shot. And Idzakovic, it had to be a perfect shot. And that breathes some more life into the bench here. Now trailing by 1. Team Gray certainly coming out, looking to respond. And they found their scoring touch again. And Team Blue now feeling a little bit of pressure as Gray breathing down their necks. Eldridge stopping it behind his net, but it's Peranto, and Peranto has been one of the players that have really come back after when a spark is needed, and he's intent there trying to get that going again. He's been instrumental in the win yesterday. He was a difference maker coming forward and bringing the energy that the Blue bench needed, and he will be looking to do the same again today. Here's Makchek. Now Makchek's looking like he's gonna gain some. He working it back and forth with Brown up to Peranto. Peranto cross ice pass, nice pass over to Anderson. Anderson with the shot. Eldridge though calmly with that, and a big contact there. Peranto running into Byers. Both players not afraid to mix it up a little bit. Shot on net there from Brown. And Blue with another shot on net. Eldridge just calmly sitting there backstopping Team Gray. And now Gray looking for an opportunity. Rainier already has a goal in the game, looking to add to that total, and he takes a shot, and Idzakovic calmly grasping that. And Idzakovic and Eldridge, probably two of the stronger goalies in the tournament, and they've been tested often and frequently. No one more than Idzakovic. He had starts against Team Black and against Team Red, and both those teams shot totals were in around the 50, and he's made a lot of saves in this tournament, and the goals scored against them, none of them have been easy. As you could see back with that Fogarty's shot had to be perfect to beat him, and that's what's going to be that's what it's going to need for Gray if they're going to get anything more past Idzakovic. And Eldridge, the same thing. Puck hitting the back of Thompson, and now Selwood coming back. Bullier, nice shot there, and Johnson's shot nabbed by Eldridge, and Eldridge has been like a vacuum cleaner. Nothing coming off of him rebound-wise. Excellent rebound control, and no second chances really there. That's so key in a game like this. And he has been solid for his teammates as well. There's Thompson now. He feeds it up, and the tap by, and there's Helgeson now. He nifty little tap pass to himself, and he keeps possession of the puck. And now that puck stripped from him, and Thompson holding the line. And he did enough to keep it in, and look at this. Opportunity for Gray. And that puck whistled dead before Thompson's able to shove it in, and Gray not happy with that, but lead official lost sight of it and blew it dead. Sometimes it works out in your favor, and other times like that, you're left shaking your head. So Team Gray still has to feel pretty good about the work they've done in the first half of this third period. Lots of hockey left to go, and right now the ice seems to be tilted in favor of Team Gray. And that puck shot up and out by Lee. It's always fun when you're watching a game like this to see if you can figure out which player is going to make the difference on each team. And so is it going to be a goaltending opportunity? Team Gray had a number of phenomenal saves earlier in the tournament. Eldridge making one of that, or pardon me, it was Eldridge making one of the big ones, and then Nagy also doing something. And then yesterday, Reeve with two huge saves in the Team Red win over Team Gray. And look at this. And it looked like Rose had made his way all the way through, and hard to stick handle without having access to your stick. But Gray pushing. And now there'll be a face-off to the left of Team Blue, and Coach Guest just congratulating Rose on a fine effort there. He probably deserved a little bit better than he got, but the mentality, continuing to push there, is going to be the more important factor. And now we've got Gray moving up, and every rush now for Gray, the potential to tie the game up, and they could tell it. Here we go, Byers with that shot, and that rare rebound by Idzakovic, but there wasn't anybody there to capitalize. And now Bullier coming in. Bullier loses the puck, but he is able to recover, taking a look, curls around, looking for a teammate, and he can't find anybody. Good defense of coverage from there, and Rainier now. Rainier going all the way down. He put a little pressure on Makchek. Makchek calmly reverses, sees a good outlet pass, and up it goes to Hep. Now Hep's going to come in with some speed. He makes a little bit, and he uses that speed well. And Palashak able to counter that, but Height now with some time. Blues got a little bit of space to work with here. Height, Palashak, and Bollier. And now Thompson, the big forward from Regina, and he is going to work his way in, taking a look. He's got to go open there. He wisely goes back to Selwood. Selwood with the shot on net, and he had some screen in front, but it hit a player. And now Laurent and Thompson with the check. And that puck comes across ice and picked up by Brown. And Brown now feeds it across the Mac check. Mac check over to Height. Height punches it forward, and Johnson there. And here we go again. Maxick, and that puck is going to go for an icing. And you could tell he's not pleased with that fact. He was feeding it up to Height, and Height was turning, didn't see the puck coming, and now it is going to be an offensive face-off. A little bit early yet for any kind of extra attacker situation, but if you recall in Game 2 yesterday or the second game of the round robin for Team Gray, Coach Guest pulled his goalie with 3:30 to go, and it paid dividends for Team Gray. And now that puck right in front, and Helgeson brought it in. Another shot. Helgeson is in its feet, and he couldn't see it. And Milky now. And Milky, that puck comes out. Thompson across to Lee. Lee, that puck hits the official skates. Lee will have to go back. Feeds it across to Milky. Milky looking. He's got Thompson. Nice pass right across to Thompson. Now Lee will go across. Lee probably will feed it up, and it goes chipped forward. And here goes Rainier. And now Laurent, pardon me, and now up comes Barry. Barry with the feed out, and that calmly brought out, and here comes Johnson. Johnson flicks it forward, and Eldridge is content to just sit and hold it. 5 minutes and 49 seconds to go in the regulation portion of this game. 1 goal lead for Team Blue. Team Gray with an early pair of goals, and now things have settled down, and Gray starting to show a little bit more urgency. Fogarty taking a look up. Is there anybody on the boards? And Barry will just keep that puck in front of him and dump it into the corner. Brisebois now. And Brisebois looking to pull that puck out. Gets a little bit of help from Steinle. Steinle with the centering pass. And now Barry with that shot in. And now there's Steinle. Steinle is stymied by Eldridge. And now Gray with a little bit of a break. Ermson, a cross-ice pass to Fogarty. Fogarty would dearly love to get a pair of things, and he's upended by Schmier. And now Blue with a bit of a mini break, 3-on-1. Brisebois with the backhand, and that shot's going to have to be a little bit harder to beat Eldridge. Eldridge more than happy to simply freeze play, get a line change. And now Hep, Anderson, and Peranzo come out for Team Blue. And I think it's going to be Brown, Byers, and Rainier. Rainier, oh, he's got an angle, and Rainier's got a break here. Let's see what he does. Whoa, what a save by Idzakovic. Rainier got himself right in, and he got the move he wanted. And Idzakovic, perfect balance there and excellent posture. Everything a goalie coach wants to see. He had that glove up and forward position, and he makes that key stop and keeps his team 1 goal lead. Focus Goaltending providing some instructional tips and quotes here. Hopefully that'll probably end up on there. What a great glove position he had. And there's Rainier now. And he's got a head of steam looking for a teammate. And he'll go cross ice to Selwood. Selwood with the shot. There's a screen in front. Brown now. He's working. These guys working hard down. Team Gray doing everything they can. That shot on net. And now we're getting a more balanced approach. They draw within 3 shots on net, and it's been all Gray here, but Toronto, and nobody, no call there. The referee's preferring to let them continue to play their way through. And now Byers working his way up. Selwood feed up to Brown. Brown, he's got a player trailing. And he had a passing opportunity, and now Gray just giving Blue everything that Blue can accommodate. But Hep going on the offensive here. Brown moving him off that puck, and now Milky coming around his own net. He sees, there's the pass, and it's picked up by Height. And Height scores. And just the importance of that outlet pass. Milky not happy with himself that he wasn't able to get that, and his outlet pass landed right on the stick of Height. And Height elevates, and he lifts his team's hopes. They were really under siege there. Now let's see if Gray's got a pushback, and now Coach Guest is calling a timeout, settle his troops. He's going to remind them that they have a fair amount of time left here. But Height made no doubt a nice little move there on Eldridge. He was going to have to do that, and Eldridge bit, and Height able to get that puck up and over his glove hand. Remember to stay tuned at the end of the broadcast, where we're going to hand out the Grit and Grind Award and the 3 stars at the conclusion of the contest here. And I'm not going to suggest in any means that it'll be over at the end of regulation. There's still a lot of hockey left to go. And I'm sure that's what Coach Blue, or Andreessen and Team Blue was saying. And now we've got the goaltender is out for Team Gray. And that long shot off the side of the post. And I think they're going to say they waved it off. Perhaps that follow through went past that red line. But anyways, there's Fogarty. Puck stripped. Selwood now. And we'll see who the extra attacker is. And it looks like Brown, Helgeson, Byers, and Thompson. All capable goal scorers, as are a good chunk of the other guys on that bench. But this is what Coach Guest is looking at. And here's Thompson. He comes across. Sorry, that wasn't Thompson. That was Helgeson. Helgeson just will chip it back in, and they're looking for numbers here. Team Blue looking for a clear. 2:45 to go in the game. And Beaulier, Selwood pinches down, and he keeps that puck in for Team Gray. Team Gray crashing the boards on that, and that long shot, and that is going to be wide. I thought that might have had legs to make it in, but Team Gray hanging on. Face-off's going to come to the left of Idzakovic. And who's going to take the draw? It's going to be Brown. And Brown, he wins it. And Team Gray, another puck banked up off the boards. Helgeson steers it back in. And Brown able to pry it loose. And that puck now kept in by Selwood. Selwood just happy to put it back towards the front of the net. Now it's picked up on the far side. Not a good hard shot there. And 2 guys there for the rebound, but Idzakovic not willing to allow that second chance opportunity. And Team Blue, they are putting out another unit. Snell, the goal scorer. One of them, Brisebois, coming in on, and on the far side, there's a shot from Gray. We are still in a 6-man attack unit here. Helgeson now on the far board. He chips it back. Helgeson to Fogarty. Helgeson comes in, and he's got a chance. And there are guys in front. Just steered wide. Helgeson coming out, still in control of the puck, and he gets a shot, and it just goes to the side of the net. And now a hard shot around the boards. And here comes Steinle, and Steinle's going to have a look at it, and he scores. And a minute 30 to go. The lead goes up by 3. And those 6 fellas were out there for quite a while, and they look gassed there in that second unit for Team Blue. Steinle made no doubt take opportunity to get the angle and then just makes the 80-foot shot for the goal. That is the 37th shot on net for Team Blue. And Eldridge back in net now, and I think Team Gray, although still going to prog along for the 90 seconds, will elect not to pull the goaltender with the 3-goal cushion now in place for Team Blue. And for a bit there, it looked like Team Gray was going to rally and get their way back into this, but Height was able to pick up an outlet pass, work his way in and score that go-ahead goal, and then the insurance goal by Steinle all but sealed it here. All 32 players involved in the game have had a heck of a weekend, lots to be proud of. Team Gray will probably leave here looking for that elusive win, and they're going to have to wait until later experiences either in summer or in the early fall. But an amazing development opportunity for all of the fellows, and hopefully after a couple of days, those in Team Gray will recognize that it was a great experience as well. This is a competitive game in an environment that involves that win-loss mentality, and so I know that they're not going to be very happy about drawing the blank there, but Team Blue has really worked hard this whole weekend. They were on the lopsided end of some goals. Here's a chance for Team Blue. Oh, Eldridge thought that one got by him, but he was able to smother it. Anyways, Team Blue, they weren't without adversity either. They were hammered on in a couple of their round-robin games and really had to dig deep. And hats off to their coaches for drawing the best out of their players. We're going to have our end of game experience, or things kept a little bit shaken up there. Not sure what happened to him, and he's hurting a little bit, but hopefully by the time it comes for the awards and the handshakes, he will be better, and he looks like he's feeling it already a little bit. Again, a little encouragement from his teammates, and now the best tradition in sports, the handshake at the conclusion of the contest. Such an important aspect of the game. Not employed by a lot of sports, but hockey, say what you will in terms of whatever it is that hockey's reputation gets, but hockey players will compete to the highest levels that they can, but at the end of it, there's always this recognition of the opponent and the respect that comes with it. It's great to see that continuing on. Coaches now involved, and they'll shake hands, and some of these guys are competing against each other in the WHL during the regular season. And now we've got coach and builder and former player and the provincial coordinator of UMH-68 here in Saskatchewan for the second year in a row, Hugh Hamilton. And Hugh is going to jump on board here, and he's going to provide the awards, and he's joined by the coaches this time. Okay, and the Grit and Grind Award.
For Team Blue, number 17, Elliot Brisebois.
And Team Blue, Elliot Brisebois, and that is a very deserving young man there. He has had a great tournament, put together 3 goals over 3 separate games, and just prepared to go into the hard places. You could count on him for digging pucks up out of the corner. And the 3 stars now with Ritchie Brothers as a sponsor. Team Gray, number 43, Rose. And we mentioned him. He was a late addition to the invitational process, and he was certainly a great add for Team Gray. Team Blue, number 35, the goaltender, Coruscant playing a very solid tournament and also playing a great. And the first star, number 70, Boston Toronto, he pops up and he gets the first star of the game. And now we'll get the picture at the conclusion. And of course, many of these boys are teammates of each other's, and will have had a chance to compete against one another this weekend, and they'll be enjoying a little bit. And now we're going to have the Sidney Crosby Award winner.
We'll start with Team Blue.
And on Team Blue, Boston, Toronto. And so each team, after 5 games, we're giving on the basis of 15 periods of work, and that one is a pretty easy one to see. Boston, Toronto really providing that, especially so during the losses early in the tournament. It's easy to recognize great opportunities, but he just dug even when in the face. And I would look back all the way to Friday night when they were under siege by Team Red, and things were Team Red winning most of the facets of the game, but Toronto was there continuing to rally his troops and working, and that's well done. Number 16 from Team Gray, Ty Renier from Lashburn. Renier's the Team Gray Sidney Crosby Award winner, and that of course sponsored by A-Cane, so they get a certificate and they're going to get a nice swag bag full of stuff that's been on display here, and he'll have something to grab onto for the 2-hour drive home. He makes his way back to Lashburn, and now we've got some All-Star Awards. So Helgeson, Abel Helgeson from Martensville, and his drive home won't be very long, but he will be happy with his performance as well. And Montgomery, and he looks like he's a little surprised, but he's put together a great tournament with excellent balance between providing a little bit of an offensive push for his teammates, but also never being out of spot and out of position when it came to his primary role, which was to defend action. So there are your tournament all-stars from both squads, and Montgomery and Helgeson. And so Caden Montgomery from Swift Current, and these fellas, along with all of the other players, they've got bright futures, and we're really looking forward to seeing the progress of these young men as they progress through the ranks over the next couple of years. And so thanks to everybody who tuned in and supported Team Gray and Team Blue during the course of this, and will continue to support your involvement in your son's life, and the goals that you have and that they have is so key, and we wouldn't be here without parent assistance and all of those who are supporting them. So thanks again for tuning into the broadcast. We really do hope that you'll tune in for the final game here at the UMH-68, and that's the bronze medal winners, Team Blue. Thanks for tuning in.